I hope you guys are having as much fun with the messed up videos here as I am. I feel like the last one left off at an especially bad time. I was about to say that there are two things I really expect to see in your Madison essay. I'll be darned if I can't remember what they are now. I'm pretty sure I was going to say I expect to see. Actually, I really expect to see three things. Well, four things. Summarize this whole thing, okay? But the three things that you'll fail if I don't see in there is a discussion of what a faction is and why it's a problem. And two, a discussion of this component of it as well. How a large republic will create a filter of wisdom, a better filter, and how it will create more factions to break up the possibility of a majority behaving like a faction in a tyrannical manner. Okay? Alright, so that summarizes the material that I expect to see in both of your essays. Okay? If I'm you guys, what I'm going to do over the weekend is get to a point where I can scratch this outline. I can, for both of these actually, I can write this outline out, by myself on a cheat sheet. And then I want to be able to, you're not bringing a cheat sheet to class, but when the essay starts, if a good essay is, or a good idea to plan for is, I can open up my blue book and write out this outline from memory, and then I can start my essay and fill in all those particular dots from this outline. Okay? So what you need to be able to do in the meantime is memorize all the terms on this outline. And then, what do all these terms mean? Okay? And then, for instance, for Downer, not just the term, but be able to memorize the 7 things from the essay that explain why it's like a state of war. Make sure you remember why America was like a state of nature, all the iron ore laying around and we're in the woods. Okay? So, these outlines are a starting point, but really what you should be able to do is... when you can, how I just basically talked our way all the way through this in a 10-minute video? When you can do that yourself, so maybe by next Sunday or Monday, be able to shut your notebook and sit there and say, all right, here's how Locke thought about the world. State of nature, right of nature, state of nature, state of war, right of war. Rebellion, civil society. Here's what justified rebellion in Downer. When you can just talk from memory all the way through what your potential essay answer should be, that's when you know that you're ready for the test. Okay? If you try and do that and discover you can't get all the way through explaining Locke's terms, or you can't remember the 7 things in Downer's essay, then you know it's time to slow down, go back to your notes, and work on memorization. All right? You have to be able to do a number of things to write a good essay. Memorize the basics, be able to analyze in a way that you can connect Locke and Downer, and then be able to regurgitate and explain this out in essay form. Okay? You want to be able to write each essay again in about 30 minutes. The Locke-Downer one may take you 40, and you may do Madison in 20. Okay? But plan for it along those lines. Alright, so now let's talk about multiple choice questions on the test. These are going to be fairly, there's going to be a range of, some of them will be fairly simple, okay? And let's start from the very beginning. Go through your notes that you took in class. This is going to be where I'm pulling multiple choice questions from, okay? And for the most part, it's going to be straightforward identification. Can you tell me what an aristocracy is? If you see aristocracy as A, rule by the best, B, rule for honor, C, rule for wealth, or D, mob rule, could you give me the correct answer? What if I said oligarchy or timocracy? Can you identify something like the definition of a constitution if I gave you 4 potential answers? Symbolic gesture, okay? That's the important key there. Not just a written set of rules, but a written set of rules which are providing a symbolic gesture about what a people essentially is. Okay? When we start getting into the American tax law, I'm not being thorough. There's more stuff. Memorize all the stuff, but I'm just trying to give you examples from the various lectures of what test questions might look like here in my remaining couple minutes. From the American founding experience, which tax which tax reduced the cost of tea, of British tea? Which tax included a tax on glass? Which tax included a tax on stamping paper? What was the name of the Sugar Act from the 1930s that was not enforced? What were the 3 things that the coercive acts did? Why did we fight Lexington and Concord? Who were the Sons of Liberty? What did the Second Continental Congress do? How was the Articles of Confederation's legislative branch organized? What powers did the Articles of Confederation not have that would have been important powers for them to have? Power to tax. Constitution lecture. Can you identify the 4 important things that our Constitution achieves? Can you identify the 2 clauses from Article 4 which explain how the states are supposed to be related to one another? Can you identify, you see where I'm going with this? You need to be able to march all the way through here. Which article talks about executive branch? Which article talks about the manner in which the Constitution can be ratified? Which article talks about how to amend the Constitution? What is the process by which we amend the Constitution? Where did the Anti-Federalists tend to come from or reside? I'm running out of time here, but don't forget about Texas material either. What did Santa Anna do to centralize the government? What things from early Texas history did we view as tyrannical? Who the heck was Edmund Davis, and why did we reorganize our Constitution because of him? What are the important features of the plural executive? Okay? So I only have about 30 seconds left in this video before I'll surely get cut off mid-sentence again. Please remember to bring a Scantron, a number 2 pencil, and a blue book to the test on Tuesday. If you are confused about any of the material, please email me over the weekend. I will reply to you, and we can possibly even get together before the test on a sort of if necessary basis. All right. Hopefully this has been an adequate review session. I've covered everything that I would have covered had we physically met together in class today. Okay. So I'll expect to see high quality essays that march through all of this information. And I'm going to expect to see sort of a broad memory when it comes to the multiple choice questions. There will only be 25 of them.